Greetings and salutations. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Eric Moss. I'm a personal trainer, motivational speaker, and modern day performing strongman. If you're unfamiliar with what a modern day performing strongman is I perform feats of strength as part of a live show. Kind of like the sort of thing that you might see about 100 years ago with the strongmen of yesterday like Alexander Zass, the Mighty Atom, and Sigmund Breitbart, but with a modern day twist. You know, like when I'm talking about a modern day twist is I do a mixture of classic feats of strength as well as some more modern ones. Classic ones might be like bending steel bars, twisting horseshoes, and the modern day ones might be things like rolling up frying pans and holding back motorcycles. Now, being a modern day performing strongman, I know that people have questions for me. And in an effort to give you guys what you want, as well as develop content for my YouTube channel, I started a YouTube series called Ask Eric Moss. And basically, you ask me a question by dropping it in the comments below. And when you do that, I get back to you with your very own custom video. Pretty neat, right? So, this question comes from Kazushi. And he says, "Hi, Eric. Thank you so much about the content. You are an awesome guy with a great heart." Why, thank you. I really appreciate that. I have one doubt. I'm currently doing a powerlifting Boris Sheiko program, high volume, and I want to incorporate isometrics. How many times a week would be the minimum effective dose? It would be better bending steel before or after the heavy lifting. Kind regards from Portugal. Keep doing the amazing work. Well, Kazushi, I want to thank you for asking that question, as well as your comments and compliments, as well as the encouragement to keep going. As long as people have questions for me, I'm going to try to keep this thing going. So, to answer your question, you are doing a Boris Sheiko program, which includes high volume, and you want to know what the minimum effective dose of isometrics would be because you plan on doing the two of them in conjunction with each other. Well, to answer your question, I think that probably once or twice a week is probably enough. You know, with isometrics, a lot of the isometrics programs that are out there, where they're talking about multiple sets of doing that, a lot of times those are intended to be standalone programs, as in you do the isometrics and you do nothing else. Now, one of the things with isometrics is they can be very intense, deceptively intense, and it doesn't feel that intense like right after you do it because there's not really much muscle damage that occurs and there's not a whole lot of heat generated within the body because there's not really any movement occurring. But it can be deceptively draining on your central nervous system because you're trying to involve as many motor units as you possibly can. Now, with the way our bodies are set up and the way strength training in general works is you have a stimulus, you recover from the stimulus, and you adapt, right? How much of that stimulus? You probably don't need as much as people think you do. I'm actually going to be experimenting on the next cycle after some of the shows that I have coming up after the end of my current isometric cycle, where I'm going to be doing one isometric per feet. That's assuming it's not like a side-to-side thing. Like bending steel, I have to do both sides. Same thing with horseshoes, but nails and stuff like that is just one side. I plan on doing just one set of that twice a week, and I'm going to be increasing the time that I'm going to be doing that per session. And yes, that comes in conjunction with a relatively high volume program that I'm going to be running alongside of it, where I'm lifting weights with that. Now, having said that, it probably wouldn't be the best idea to run that in conjunction with the Boris Sheiko program. I'm not terribly familiar with the Boris Sheiko program, and I would like to see what the percentage is of the 1 repetition max and how many reps you're doing with that before I can really give a clear answer. What I would probably do instead, and this, this is entirely dependent on your goals. Everything, all the advice that I give is got to be within context, which is one of the reasons I say with everything it depends. So the question is, are you trying to be a power lifter? And is the isometrics going to be used for powerlifting? Or are you doing the sort of thing that I'm doing, where you plan on being a modern day performing strongman and you do some of the feats that like I include in my show? If you are trying to do the powerlifting program, honestly, I would just stick with the Sheiko program. If you're trying to do what I do, what you might want to consider is backing off on the isometrics now and getting closer to the end of the cycle. That's when you might want to start considering maybe switching out the two so that you can accumulate the strength from the Boris Sheiko program, and then you can actualize the strength with an isometric cycle. That might be something worth considering, and you might just want to cycle back and forth between the two. So finish up the Sheiko program, do an isometric cycle, go back to the Sheiko program or some other kind of progression. But one of the key things is listen to your body and see how everything feels and make adjustments as needed. So, the other thing is with training and stuff like that, is your body only has so much adaptive capacity. Everything that you do is going to compete to some extent with everything else you do for adaptation. So it's best to not try to throw too much stuff at your body, because jack of all trades is master of none, as they say. Try to chase two rabbits, catch neither. But I hope that answers your question. If you have any additional questions, or you need a follow-up, or if anybody has any other questions, drop it in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you with your own video. In the meantime, that is it for today. Please stay happy, healthy, and strong. Eric Moss, over and out.